In hospitality, performance metrics often dominate the conversation. But behind every successful hotel brand is something less measurable yet equally impactful: the narrative. BWH Hotels has built one of the most diverse portfolios in the industry, spanning independent properties and distinct branded experience across global markets. What sets the group apart is not only operational skill, but its ability to shape strong, differentiated identities for each brand while maintaining the credibility of a global network. I'm Anna Blieker, Managing Director of Intel Consulting, and I lead the PR strategy for FHS. To explore how storytelling, media strategy, and brand voice translate into real commercial value for hotel owners, we're joined today by Joe, Director of PR and Communications at BWH Hotels. In this conversation, we look at the role of narrative and hospitality growth, the evolution of PR in the digital world, and why the right story can be as powerful as the right location. Welcome, Joe.
I am. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Here. It's quite nice to have a conversation about PR in the context
of...
Right, to kind of set us off, in hospitality, everyone always talks about product and performance. And why do you believe storytelling is just as effective and critical to RevPAR and occupancy?
Well, we've done a lot of research as we're growing the brand, and currently it's really about, it always has been really about emotional connection and integrating yourself into the sense of place. And we've done a lot of research into our next best customer. And our next best customer or traveler, they're not necessarily loyal to a particular brand. What they're loyal to is local experiences and being immersed in that sense of place and in local community. So we're tapping into that, and this emotional connection and cultural relevance is really what's driving. So if we can build narrative that brings those properties and places to life, that will be as important, we believe, as operational excellence and revenue.
Yeah, I guess from PR perspective, I couldn't agree. And it's growing in importance as everything further evolves. Now you have a really diverse portfolio of brands. How do you then shape distinct narratives for each of those without losing the strength of your parent identity?
Yeah, it's a really good question because we have a huge portfolio and they're all very different. As you may know, under BWH Hotels, we have many hotels, but they're independent. So we don't mandate anything for them, which sometimes has its own challenges, as you can't mandate anything and, have a mandatory structure. But what the beauty of that is that they're independent and individual and have their own unique stories. So what we position ourselves as we want to be the most welcoming hospitality brand in the world. So we position ourselves under the welcome umbrella and this really sort of welcome for the neighborhood, so this local community neighborhood feeling. And under this mantra, every hotel can interpret that in their own way, whether it's upper scale luxury, so it's a very luxury welcome and integration into the community, or it can be really focused on the warmth of the welcome or the accessibility or whatever makes that hotel an integral part of its local community. So the joy for the hotelier is that they get to decide what is most authentic and most relevant to them under this welcome to the neighborhood umbrella.
And do they then get to create that within their own local narratives for local media?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. That sounds really good. And what do you feel like all the hotels that you have? They're obviously very distinct in their character, and as you said, really, really diverse. How would you say you separate a hotel that gets media attention from one that maybe doesn't get as much exposure?
Not all hotels immediately have that sort of curb appeal for media, but what we generally say is, as I just said before, think about what that authentic story is, because an authentic story can cut a lot sharper than scale or quantity. So really sort of hone in on that curated story and what is meaningful for you, what are your values, and what is most distinctive about your property. So building this authentic differentiated story is my number one. Number two sounds very tried and tested, but great images, great video content. There are so many layers. At BWH Hotels, we have social media teams and marketing teams, as well as our PR, as well as sales events. So just taking great images is not just used in one individual place, but it can spread across the entire portfolio and the entire company. and connecting to that cultural relevance as well. I really would say finding something that is authentic. And I've always said to our hotels, it's better to be authentic than to be the best. If you want 5-star fluffy towels, the traditional, the best in class hotel experience, I think that if, as long as it's authentic and it's true and it's genuine and people absolutely emotionally connect to the hotel to make them feel I'm in the right place at the right time, and it's a lot more memorable. So I'd say sort of, really define that sort of cultural relevance to the hotel, and media will identify and resonate with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. That sounds amazing. And how would you then say once those hotels have really strong brand storytelling and they really kind of clicked into their authenticity within the local market, how do you then see that translate into commercial value for the owners? How does that really bring and create that extra for the property from a return on investment?
Yeah. Well, it's always been quite a tricky thing for marketing and PR to sort of prove their value against the bottom line. But what we do by building these narratives is what we call creating emotional stickiness. So if you can find values that resonate with the traveler, or values that resonate with the media, indeed, you create this sort of emotional glue to the hotel, make it memorable, to make it relevant, to make you feel, I understand the values of this hotel, I understand the story, I like to be here. And that emotional glue turns into repeat stays. And that emotional glue builds emotional loyalty and customer loyalty. So as we continue to develop that narrative and continue to develop and sort of sharpen what makes it genuinely authentic, it creates loyalty. So it drives repeat stays, which drives the bottom line.
I mean, I like that. I really like that resemblance with the glue, the sticky glue, and bringing people back. And but how do you then keep the momentum when hotels are open for a while? What can owners and operators do to really continue to drive that narrative once the property is fully operational and maybe has been in the market for quite a while?
Well, from a PR point of view, it's always useful for us to understand the story. So we try to dig in and help them to generate their own identity. And when we understand the identity and the storyboard, if you like, of what the hotel is all about, we can create lots of layers to that. So we'll have immersive media stays. We can have media events on property. A couple of years ago, it was one of my favorites. We went to Stockholm in Sweden, and we brought a bunch of journalists with us and had a round table with our presidents. But then we also had a hotel tour. So we were hotel hopping, if you like. And each hotel brought out what they felt was their own story. And we have family run hotels. We have hotels that help the local community and have their own traditions and rituals. And just by bringing that to life, we've had these hotels for a long time, but we helped to bring it to life with the media on property. We had champagne and strawberry cake at a family run hotel at the Hotel Ruth, and we had wine tasting at the Nofo Hotel and Wine Bar with local wines. And it just created that sort of nice, memorable stickiness. And those journalists have gone back again and again to them. So it sort of keeps that momentum going, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have all that kind of creativity built into the narrative. So, like, if once you've got a couple of hooks, how you can then further extend that. Are there other kind of avenues that they can look at, for example, design or kind of other areas that they could look at creating narratives around that are maybe not distinctively local, but more within the fabric of the property themselves?
Yeah, we have. I mean, one nice example I can think of is with our World Hotels Crafted collection. We do this with other World Hotels properties as well, but we identify what makes them who they are. And usually the hoteliers or the GMs or the owners that are attracted to join the portfolio have a vision. They're sort of an artist in some form. So they have a vision for what they want the hotel to be and what story they want to tell. So we would help them to create that storyboard and that identity right from the offset, which also helps us to be consistent with how we tell our story. But these people aren't just about a stay and free Wi-Fi and it's just, staying at the hotel. They want to bring this to life. They see their hotel as a canvas, a way of telling that story, a way of discovering moments and connecting with people and getting the right people to work there as well. Local heroes that can, help to bring the entire local stage beyond the four walls. walls of the hotel. So this is what we enjoy the most.
Taking it back to pre-opening and when the hotel is still in development stage, how early do you and the owner and the developer start thinking about the PR narrative and really what makes that the differentiator in their story? And where does it start perhaps as well?
Well, we would say it should go back as early as possible, as it can go. When developers are talking to the hotel before they'd even join the collection, they're looking to see how do we connect with the local community? What is the story? One example is Flana Hotel in Warsaw in Poland. They had a vision board years before they opened because it really depends on what is your identity. What is the story? Their identity was connected with the history, so they could go as far back as possible. And what we found particularly attractive about this hotel is Flanner translated means the art of observation, flanieren in German, but the art of observation for the sake of it. And their hotel was literally opposite the statue of Copernicus, which is the great observer. So he was observing the hotel and they paid homage. They took a long time to open because it had to be exactly right. Every element, every architectural piece within the hotel reflects the art of observation. It's a beautiful, wonderful crafted hotel. But they needed to work on that, years in advance because it was literally a physical part of the scenery of Warsaw. It's in one of the main squares. It's opposite Copernicus. So it really depends what the story is. If the story is about the people, it doesn't have to be set so far back. But at the point of the developer saying, right, we'd love to collaborate and work with you and come on board, only at that point do we get involved and start to identify. But I think the beauty of what BWH Hotels does is we don't create story for them. The story exists, it's inherent. We're the magicians that pull it out. So we're there to amplify in the story. We're there to help to bring it to life. We're there to help them articulate what their story is. To some people, an owner of a hotel might know their hotel is special, but not be able to put their fingers on why. So our job is to help them bring it to life, to articulate it, to put it down on paper, put it into words, and to help amplify that. But usually you'll know there's something special. It'll either be obvious or it'll be pulled out, but that will be done right from the offsets when they join our group in our case.
That's amazing. I love that. I'd like the stickiness of it. It's just it's brilliant.
I love digging into their identity. It's a great bonding experience as well because you get to know the hotelier on a much deeper level. So it's a good relationship building exercise, but it also helps you, as I said, with sales, that we all talk in the same tone of voice. We all, speak about the narrative in a very consistent and holistic way.
Yeah, and build positioning that way, and that then translate to all maybe guest experience type activations as well. Yeah. I think we are evolving so fast. I mean, we're both in the space, and it's just incredible to see what's happened over even just the last decade when it comes to the digital PR and digital marketing and kind of the convergence almost of the various disciplines within commercial that evolve around storytelling. Do you believe traditional PR has lost its power, or has it evolved into something? What is your perspective on what's taking place over the last decade, and maybe what's next in the next couple of years?
It definitely has not lost its power. I would not say that at all, but it has certainly evolved. And there's a lot more of a combination of how we reach the media and the press. So I think it's quite a delicate dance of being able to remain appealing and have those authentic stories, but in a more sort of immediate way. We've worked a lot more with podcasts and videos and interactive and immersive experiences. We can only encourage, we can't mandate, but we do encourage our hotels to really think about an immersive media stay, not just welcoming the journalists to come and visit and have a great stay and have bed and breakfast and a dinner, but how could you work with local partners? How could you introduce your strengths? If you have a great wellness concept or a local wellness concept or, award-winning gastronomy, or you're all about sort of local culture or sustainability, build that in to the stay, into the package. So for us, it's all about this immersive experience that whether you're a traveler or you're there for business or you're media, you want to feel like you're part of the tapestry for however long you're there, even if it's a couple of days. You want to feel embraced and part of that community. You don't want to feel like a visitor. You want to feel accepted as, one of the team or one, you've said building a friendship is a step too far, perhaps, but having that sort of friendly concept. So it's about emotional intelligence. It's about immersion, immersive experiences. And as you said, as podcasts and videos and making things a lot more immediate. Attention spans are very short. Mine is very, very, very short. But it's about sort of reaching them in an immediate way. And we also have, press kits and ways of reaching media where they just look for what is relevant to them. And not sort of sending an arbitrary long press release that they've got to read through, but something that's, very quick and easy to manage.
And do you see more kind of integration or even convergence with other teams within the commercial discipline, for example, or even other departments beyond public relations and marketing, perhaps?
Yeah,
Years of experience in life, or to really give journalists something more than whether it's on words or whether it's on video or on imagery, but how can you bring that all together?
yeah, absolutely. I've just given a workshop actually internally about PR is everybody. It's not myself and my team. It's everyone is PR. Everyone represents the company. I think one nice example is our sales teams. We have amazing sales teams. They're so great at relationships and building, as all salespeople are building their relationships with the hoteliers, and they've got privileged access to the hoteliers. So events for us is a great platform for PR, and we're all representing the brand and our hoteliers. So absolutely, we work a lot more closely with sales as an extension of PR, with our revenue teams that are the relationship managers with the hoteliers as well. So we are all PR. We all represent, and yeah.
And do you do that, just out of curiosity? Have you got a similar approach for the branded properties versus the independents? Or do you have, for example, when you talk about the workshops or creating those brand experiences, can you tell me a little bit about how that works within BWH hotels?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the welcome to the neighborhood, this is an overarching approach. It's not a strapline, it's not a campaign or anything like that, but it's our approach. We truly believe in the warm welcome, and we truly believe in the local community. And we also, we're very much into sustainability and people and culture. And that goes across all. So whether it's a Best Western brands or Aden or Shore Stay or World Hotels, that will all sit within this umbrella. Of course, we kind of interpret that in slightly different ways, depending on the hotelier and the hotel brands. But they can all sort of feed into their own unique ways.
So it's a global brand framework in terms of kind of the principles that you have, but very much with local execution and using their creativity.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Um, and then just out of another kind of curiosity question, we've talked a lot about AI coming into obviously the guest experience and back of house operations. Well, how do you see the role of AI evolving in our discipline in PR and comms over the next couple of years?
Oh, that is an interesting question. It will a lot and I think it will replace a lot of the arbitrary work that you put together. I think you still have to be very, very careful about getting the authenticity absolutely right. It's very tempting sometimes to have AI create the stories and send those out. But I think in terms of emotional intelligence, PR and humans in PR is still very, very relevant in terms of really creating that emotional, the correctness, really hitting the right notes in the right places. That your choice of wording, the choice of tone is extremely important. But AI will absolutely facilitate, make things a lot easier, a lot faster. I think it will make it a lot simpler for media to proactively get what they need rather than wait reactively for us to, send things and they would react. So it might sort of turn the table a little bit in terms of the ease with which they can seek out information and work. But we have to be right at the forefront of having all of our AI tools in place and to make sure we've got the right collateral and assets from the hotels as well, such as fantastic imagery and fantastic videos. And then we can do a lot more with it.
Yeah, no, I think it's exciting times to have. I agree with you. Time will tell as well how that's really going to.
Absolutely.
But really nice to kind of see how that will help with differentiation, how it will help with brand storytelling and really building narratives that are truly differentiated. Yeah, I would say it's exciting times ahead. And when you're looking at brands specifically, because you talked a little bit about kind of the global brands approach, and how you work on storytelling within that. For hoteliers considering which brand to partner with, what should they be asking about media strategy and storytelling support? And some of the things that they need to consider.
I think they need to have a really good idea of who their key feeder markets are and where they want to grow. Do they want to sort of grow locally first or within the region? Are they looking for global exposure? Are they at that point yet? Who are the travelers? Have they got all of that sort of data where they want to be reaching out? For example, we have a global setup. So we have a global PR agency, we have a global PR team, but then we're also split into regions. So we also have regional and local expertise. So we're set up in a way that we can adapt to any of the needs. But as we said, the hotelier should have a good idea of where they want to go. And they should also have a good idea of who is their guest. Who are they? What are their tangible values? What do they have? What sort of unique values combined with their own highlights and their own design features that make them absolutely I've got German words in unikat, and make them sort of a unique offer to the guest.
And have you seen a big shift in terms of source markets, for example, or different audiences that have kind of come more into play over the last couple of years from that perspective?
Yes, it has changed a lot, but it also depends on the location and the hotel. There's been a huge shift in Middle Eastern travel coming into Europe. That's NORAM, North American travel coming into Europe as well. I've got my EMEA lens on at the moment, but we also experience a lot of growth in Africa though as well. So our presence in Africa is growing because it's becoming a lot more of a destination. Our presence in Turkey is growing as well, in Spain and the Netherlands. So from our perspective, we're seeing a lot of growth opportunities within the EMEA region. But we're also seeing shifts in where the travelers are coming from. There was a huge sort of inbound from China, and now it's sort of shifting a little bit more to Middle East and North American guests coming over. So yeah, it's very interesting, but it does shift from location to location and depending on the hotels. And also the UK, that's a massive inbound travel set coming into Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then really looking, I guess, at all those different source markets and see what stories will really resonate with them. What sort of travelers are they? What looking for? Which makes it super exciting, of course, for the hotels to really look at what that storytelling looks like. Really interesting. Um, and then just a kind of a more personal questions to kind of round off our conversation today. What is one hospitality story that stayed with you personally and really reminded you of the business that we're in?
I have so many. I have to say, one one that stayed with me recently is going back to Stockholm. I should do Netherlands or somewhere different. I'll do two. Can I do two?
Of course.
Oh, in
That's,
Stockholm
I'm from
at
Holland. Let's hear it.
I could go all day, I warn you.
Mm.
There's a hotel, Nofo Hotel and Wine Bar in Stockholm. And it's a family-run hotel that's run by a mother and father and the children, grown-up children. They run the hotel and run the wine bar. Mother and father couldn't decide on whether it's a New York design theme or a London design theme based on their own personal sort of emotional connection. So they have one floor that's New York and one floor that's UK or London, I should say. And they've won all these awards for audio visual excellence because you can hear it. It's all of the senses coming to life. But they love locality of London and New York, but the locality of Södermalm, which is their own sort of district within Stockholm, Södermalm. And they have a key to Söder. It's called the key to Söder. And when you stay at the Nofo hotel, they give you this virtual key, but it gives you the insider's guide to Södermalm, to the neighborhood. And it is so genuine and authentic. They have their local chef going where he sources food, where he goes for a coffee for his coffee break. It's not just about business. It's a very warm and genuine and honest insider's guide. And it makes you feel quite privileged. I was allowed to watch the video and see where they sort of guide you around the neighborhood, and they come back and it's all kept within the family as well. For me, it's one of the best examples of a warm welcome to the neighborhood, because it's additional. It's not a must, but it's something that comes from the heart, and it's something that's genuine, and it connects the hotel to all these great places. And when you go to Zudermannen within Stockholm, you just get overwhelmed with places you can go. And what a great feeling to follow the key to Zuda. Go there. It's all done for you. Just follow it. Guarantees best quality, best value, a great time all round. And I think that sometimes they go with you. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn there. I might be speaking out of turn, but I think that's the best way of absolute emotional connection and a local experience. But I
No,
also like Houda Hotel,
definitely.
Netherlands, in the city of Houda. They have a very playful way of being integrated into, Gouda cheese. We say Gouda cheese, Houda. They've embraced that. They're very much a part of the Gouda cheese, Houda, the traditional cheese rolling events, and they have the Houda ladies with the pigtails. It's a beautifully crafted hotel, but it's got a sense of fun and humor, and obviously fantastic cheese. But they're sort of really part of the Houda tapestry and community. They get involved with everything that goes on there, but with a really nice, fun flair to it. So they don't take themselves too seriously, but it is a beautifully designed property. It's a great stay. It's very warm. So there's sort of the warmth and the locality. So had to mention Netherlands as well there.
Well, it's nice. This it's really interesting because talking about the sense of welcome and the sense of locality. These are all part of the narratives that we talked about today. And this is really what brings hospitality to be the best industry
Yeah.
to be working in, right?
Yeah.
We agree. Is there
Best
anything else
industry.
to add to any trends that you're seeing when it comes to PR and communications, or anything else that you'd like to add today?
Any trends that I want to add to PR and communications? In addition to what we've been saying, at the moment, I would only emphasize the immersive nature because it has so many layers to it. It's not just about a media stay, but immersion can come in so many different ways, whether it's Substacks or podcasts. I think generating that strong story just gives you such an outlet of what we can do with it. So I would leave it with that and to watch this space.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thank you, Anne. It's great to talk to you.